Welcome to my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Google Ads training. So I tried to put together a Google Ads training video that makes it as easy as possible to learn the basics of Google Ads as you get started, or if you're currently running campaigns. So a lot of these strategies have worked for me. This is basically my process when I'm working with a brand new client, and some of the things that we want to do when we're getting started with building a campaign, working within the account, and some of the best practices to actually drive consistent conversions. Now, before I get into my Google Ads training, this is all brought to you by my Google Ads course. So the training is meant to give you an overview of here are some of the best strategies that work for me when it comes to Google Ads, a process that I essentially go through when I'm creating Google Ads campaigns for clients, and some of the things that I focus on. But really, if you're looking to get in depth with everything, my Surfside PPC Google Ads course is available for $34.99. There's currently 22 lessons in here. I'm still adding lessons to it. You can see all these different modules that we have, everything from keyword research, conversion tracking, the Google Ads interface, everything you need to know about match types, bidding strategies, different types of campaigns that you can create, strategies, some tips, some best practices, optimizing your campaign. And then I'm consistently going to be adding bonus lessons here as well. So I added one bonus lesson. I have a lot more bonus lessons coming. So if you purchase my course, you'll get all of this information and you'll get it a lot more in depth. But in this video, I'm going to be going through essentially a roadmap that you can take if you are working in a Google Ads account. And I assume most people who are looking at this are already working in Google Ads or planning to work in Google Ads. So this is really what you want to do when you're getting started. So let's come over to Google Ads. So we're going to go through all 5 steps here, and it's not going to be an in-depth for each individual step. I'm not going to be creating a new campaign throughout this training. A lot of that stuff is on my YouTube channel for free, in addition to in my Google Ads course if you're interested in purchasing that. Obviously, the course has much more in-depth, more advanced, and more of a cohesive overall. Each module leads into the next one. So with this one, what we're going to start with is the number one thing, and the number one thing I always start with is conversion tracking. So the reason conversion tracking is really important within your campaign is because the main goal of Google Ads is to drive at least 15 high quality conversions every single month. So every 30 days, you want to have at least 15 conversions. Basically, the reason for that is because Google uses bidding strategies that optimize for conversions. And the more conversion data you actually feed into Google Ads, and the better that conversion data is, the more you're actually going to get out of Google Ads. So when we're looking at my all-time results and you see one conversion here for $37 cost per conversion, one of the major issues I get is people either reach out to me or they're currently running campaigns and their budget, it just isn't big enough. So let's just say, for example, and if we come over here, I'm bidding very, very low on this. So my average cost per click is way too low. Let's estimate it a little bit higher. This is for a campaign for pool services. So let's just say I own a pool service company. We do cleaning, maintenance, liner replacement, repairs, etc., etc. If we're coming over here to our calculator, and this is how I do it a lot of times, you can see I was just trying to figure out what the right numbers are for this. But let's just say we have a 10% conversion rate, $7 cost per click. That means we are getting 10 clicks and it's going to cost us $70 per conversion. Every 10 clicks, we get one conversion, $70 per conversion. Now, let's just say our monthly budget is $2,000. We divide that by 70. That means in a month, we get 28 conversions. If you're a pool service company, you should be able to turn those 28 conversions into something profitable as long as you're closing these clients and as long as they are good conversions. But within that 28, you're never going to have every single one is a perfectly great conversion that closes. So the more conversions you can have here, the better. The easier it is to actually optimize your Google Ads campaign, and the more consistent your Google Ads campaign would be. Now, this is a seasonal business, so that's always a major challenge when it's something like pool care, but people are always looking for pool repair, pool maintenance types of services. So basically, the issue that I run into sometimes is people reach out to me and they say, hey, I'm looking to spend $1,000 and let's just assume we have this $70 cost per conversion. Okay, so 14 conversions in a month. We may not be able to actually drive that many. Maybe our cost per conversion is slightly lower, maybe it's slightly higher, but we run into the issue sometimes where your budget is just way too low. So if you're looking at my campaign here and you're like, how is he setting a $1 per day budget? This is a completely fake business and a fake campaign. I'm not going to spend $2,000 on a fake business. So basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to collect that conversion data. And the way to do that is by setting up conversion tracking. So that's going to be all available through goals in your conversions and your summary. If you are already familiar with Google Analytics 4, you can take your key events and import them directly into Google Ads. So you create a conversion action and then you do import from your Google Analytics 4 property, web, continue, and if you have any analytics events here, purchase is the one that is already there. Click on it, import and continue, and you can actually optimize for your Google Analytics 4 events. That is a perfectly good way to set up your conversion tracking. So if you're already tracking a thank you page, for example, let's just say somebody comes into our landing page, they click on this contact us button, they go right to this form, send the message, they go to a thank you page. When they get to that thank you page, if you're already tracking that in Google Analytics 4, just import that directly in here. So I actually did that. I think it's under my contact here, but you could see I have a Google Analytics 4. I set it as a secondary conversion action. Basically, that means my campaign will not optimize for this. My account will not optimize for this. It's just something I am tracking into Google Ads just to see how it's performing. When you come over here to the right-hand side, if you see things like needs attention or no recent conversions or inactive, inactive is the one you do not want to see. If you see these ones, no recent conversions basically means that Google is still getting activity from some of these things. They're just not seeing any conversions in the past 7 days. So generally no recorded conversions past 7 days. Make sure your campaigns are enabled. Make sure your tracking is still working. Our tracking is still working. We're just not getting enough conversion data. The one conversion I've gotten is an email. So over here, needs attention. It's basically saying tag is saying it's inactive because the last conversion was recorded so long ago. The last activity was so long ago. This is not a real business. I'm not actually getting leads to this business. So the needs attention or no recent conversions are basically, we have tracked this before. However, we're not currently seeing these recently. So just one of those things to know in Google Ads. If you're seeing inactive when you set this up, that basically means Google is like, we have not seen this whatsoever. So really quick and easy way to set up conversion tracking. So I'll give you a couple of examples here. I'll just go into the back end of my Google Tag Manager. And the way that I generally set up conversion tracking is on my website, the very first thing I do is I get this WP Code plugin. So at the top, you'll see WP Code. On the side, it's called Code Snippets. So if you go to the plugin store, search WP Code and make sure you install the WP Code plugin. And then it's going to be over here on the left-hand side, and we're going to come over here to header and footer. Okay, and you'll see this is what the W Code logo looks like. So when you're looking for it in the plugin store, you'll be able to find it. It's completely free to use. They do have a pro version, but you do not need that to install Google Tag Manager. So you'll see right here, I have my 2 Google Tag Manager pixels installed. You can find that after you create your Tag Manager account. Again, completely free to use, tagmanager.google.com. Create your account, create a web account for your website. Again, I go through all this in the course. Click on admin here, and through the admin section, you can actually install Google Tag Manager, get both of these pieces of code, and then you place those, one in the header, one in the body tag. This will be underneath the opening body tag. Save changes, and now we have Google Tag Manager on our website. And within Google Tag Manager, the reason why I like using it is I can set up all of my tags here. So all of my Google Ads conversions are tracked using Tag Manager. And generally the way that I do it is after you create a conversion action, and I will show you that. But first, let's just say we do the mobile phone calls on our website. So what this is tracking is somebody comes to our website on a mobile phone and they click on one of these call buttons here, or if we scroll down here further down the page, we have a phone number here. I also have a text message. So we're able to track all of these different clicks on our website using Google Tag Manager. And if we come over here to the details after we set up this conversion action, under tag setup, you're going to see use Google Tag Manager. Basically, Google is going to give you a conversion ID and a conversion label. We come to Tag Manager, we open up our mobile calls here. So under mobile calls, what I'm able to do is put in a tag for Google Ads conversion tracking, and then we enter the conversion ID and the conversion label that Google Ads gives us. Come down to the bottom, it triggers, and we have it set that anytime somebody clicks on a link that contains TEL. So what that means is somebody goes to our website, they click on this link right here, it says TEL is part of the telephone link. So they click on this telephone link, they give us a call, we're able to actually track that back into Google Ads. There's other different phone calls that you can track. So you can track desktop phone calls, basically somebody who is on their computer, who is typing in this number directly. Google will use a call forwarding number on your website. Again, another free thing. You don't need to sign up for anything additional there. But that one is just set up through Tag Manager as well. Slightly different here. I always call them desktop phone calls, but basically somebody who's on their computer who's typing this in directly. And you set it as the displayed phone number to replace. It's a Google Ads calls from website conversion. So you'll see calls from website conversion, conversion ID, conversion label. They will give you those for every single conversion you create. And then you just fire it on every single page. And this one is slightly different because what it does is it's tracking every time somebody's on the phone for, and I lower this to 30 seconds, but you could say 30 seconds, 60 seconds, whatever it may be. So we have 3 different phone call conversions, one directly from the ads themselves, one when people actually visit the website and then click on a clickable call button on our website. The other one when people type in this number directly through their phone. So those would be the 3 main phone call conversions. When you're creating your conversion action, go to phone calls and you can set this up very easily that way. And you'll see this is for the call only ads. This is for your desktop phone calls, what I call them, but basically somebody who's calling the phone number directly on your website, somebody who's clicking the number on your website, and you just set them up slightly different for each of them. Now, the other way to track everything is, let's just say, and I have a few different ones here, but let's just say, for example, that we come up to, when somebody fills out our form here, they send the message, they just go directly to a page that looks like this. So the page goes, thank you. So you'll see exactly like that. You can see we already have one. The page just goes, thank you. We redirect this form directly to a thank you page. All you need to do is set up your conversion action in Google Ads, and we can create this new conversion action here. It's going to be on our website. Enter your website domain here and click on scan. Okay, and it's going to say this website domain is linked to a Google Analytics account, so we can measure in Google Analytics. Otherwise, we're going to do add a conversion action manually. This is how you do it with Tag Manager. Add a conversion action manually. We do contact. We do view page example 1 and name your conversion whatever you want to. Conversion action optimization. Primary means you're actually optimizing your bids to give you more of those conversions. Secondary means I just want to record this. I don't want to actually optimize for this. Generally, most of your conversions are going to be primary actions. There are some that I use as secondary, usually like engagement. If somebody's scrolling all the way down to the page, somebody is on the website for over a minute, just to make sure that we have some engaging traffic that's actually looking at our pages. Next is going to be values. I highly recommend setting different values for your conversions based on how valuable they are for your business. So if a phone call is twice as valuable as a form, then you want to set up a form as 1, and you would want to set up your values for each of the individual phone calls we just showed as 2. That means every time you get a conversion, Google's going to count a phone call as $2 for your business. Now you can enter in actual numbers. If you know that a phone call is worth, I don't know, $60 to your business, you can enter that here. If you know a form is worth $25 to your business, you can enter that there as well. Generally what I do is just 2 to 1. So then it's like, all right, phone calls are twice as valuable to our business. That would make up for, if it was $60 per phone call, $30 for, you're not actually looking to have the exact revenue unless you have those numbers. So setting a conversion value here, plenty of reasons to do that. You can also just use the same value for each 1 and just set that 1 for every time. This one is generally use the same value for each conversion, set it as 1 or set it as 2. I would generally just set this one as 1 for a thank you page. And then we scroll down here. For leads, you count 1. For sales, you count every. So if somebody is purchasing from you twice, you count that both times because it's revenue for your business. If somebody fills out your form twice, it's 1 lead. You don't need to count that person twice. Click through conversion window. You can adjust this longer. You can adjust this one longer, adjust this one longer. Data driven, and then you definitely want to be using enhanced conversions. We already have that set up. And now we want to save and continue, and it's going to give us some instructions to you actually install this conversion. So conversion ID and our conversion label down here. So you come over to Tag Manager, you create a new, and we'll call it thank you page example 1. And we will do Google Ads, and we will do Google Ads conversion tracking. And then we're going to come back over here, copy our conversion ID, and we are going to paste that right here. And then we are going to copy our conversion label, and we're going to paste that one right here. So we have both of those there. Triggering is going to be when, and you'll see I already have this set up, when the page URL contains thank you. So you click on the plus sign, click on the trigger, and you want to do page view, some page views when the page URL contains, and you could just put thank in there, but we're just going to do thank you, and that will track every time someone visits that page on our website because it contains thank you in the URL. Don't need to use the brackets, and we're just going to save this. Thank you page 1, click on save, and then click on save again to save our tag, and then submit this. So we could just, if you want to put a detailed description, we don't really need to do that. I'm the only one working on this account. This is really for shared accounts. Publish this, and now that will track your conversion. So if we come over here and we go to admin, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this thank you page right here. So we'll go to our thank you page. Okay, so we'll go to our thank you page here, and we are going to come back to our workspace, and then I'm going to click on preview and enter that URL. And then we're going to go into Google Tag Assistant. Okay, and it'll open up a page that looks like this. You'll see thank you, GTM debug. And if we come back over here, what should happen is you'll see our Google Ads conversion thank you page just tracked. So that's the one that we just wanted to track. Our Google Analytics 4 event thank you page is tracked. So now this will track in Google Analytics 4 and for Google Ads. So now we have both of these things tracking. And as we drive people to our website through Google Ads and people actually fill out that form and land on this, we can track that as a conversion. So on the thank you page, we also have these two buttons. So I'm just going to click on both buttons right now. I click on the call button and I click on the text button. So I just clicked both of them. And now if we come back over to the Tag Assistant, what you're going to see is tags fired. We have, so desktop phone calls will only count as a conversion in our case if it is a 30-second phone call after they visit the website from Google Ads. So this is going to fire every time, but it won't count a conversion unless that other requirement is met, the 30-second phone call. So Google is actually tracking that. Mobile calls, so that's going to be every time somebody clicks on this button here, that's going to count as a mobile call. And then you'll see we also have text message here. So that's anytime somebody clicks here on this text message button. So we're able to track all of those things. Now, one person could turn into 3 conversions. If you do have that issue, it's one of those things where you just need to keep in mind, okay, we're probably over-reporting conversions slightly, but really not the end of the world to have people contacting you in different ways, because it's just another way for you to actually turn that person into a client. And if somebody's contacting you multiple ways, they're probably pretty interested in your services. So we will close Tag Assistant now. And now we are getting ready to move on to step number 2. Okay, and we come back over here, and when you are building your campaign, you have to keep in mind you're going to have different ad groups for the different keywords you're targeting, and each ad group should have its own relevant landing page. So even if I'm targeting one keyword in an ad group, pool liner replacement near me, I want to make sure I have multiple landing pages that I'm actually testing and sending traffic to. So that's one thing that we're going to go over in this portion, and also as we go over creating really relevant ads and really great ads that are going to be designed to convert and increase your conversion rate. So when it comes to landing pages, you really want to use 2 different landing pages, and my general recommendation is to create really good pages on your website in terms of SEO pages that are designed to convert. So this is the actual SEO page on my website. If this were my website where I was sending traffic, I would completely redesign this, get rid of this top portion, make sure I have a prominent headline at the very top. I do like the big call to actions like this: call us, text us. Make sure you are very clear about what you're actually doing. So when someone is searching for that keyword and they go into Google and they search pool liner replacement near me, or maybe pool liner repair near me, or pool liner replacement services near me. So some of those different types of keywords, you'll see some of these have a little bit higher bid estimates. But basically what we want to do is when people are searching these, we want to send them to the most relevant landing page on our website. And what I like to do is say, why don't we create really optimized SEO pages so that when we are driving traffic to this page, and let's just say, I don't know, 100 people hit this page every few months, then what you want is more people to actually fill out your form. So even conversion rate optimization, it matters on the SEO side, and it can help with your pay-per-click advertising campaigns, because you're going to be driving more conversions from the actual SEO pages, and you can send traffic directly to this page and it will drive plenty of conversions. The other thing that you can do is create standalone landing pages, something that is completely separate. You can see up here I have LP pool liner replacement. Maybe even remove the menu up here altogether, or just keep the menu something where when people click on it, it bounces to the bottom of the page. So if somebody clicks on contact us, it goes to a form right on the bottom of the page. The other really important thing about landing pages is you're looking to basically answer every question that somebody may have, every concern that somebody may have. So the very first thing is, do they do the actual service that I'm looking for? In this case, the answer would be yes, if they're looking for a pool liner replacement. And then, do they actually serve my location? So the more targeted you could get with location, so if I can break this down to pool liner replacement services in Charleston, pool liner replacement services in Myrtle Beach, and I take some of these different areas and I actually create separate landing pages for each of them, this is where it can come in handy to have these separate landing pages for some of the different services, some of the different locations. And then what we do, contact us today. You want to make sure that you show your ratings, your public ratings, your testimonials, pull in a widget that shows all of your different Google reviews. All of those things will go a really long way. Make it so that you're answering all the questions people may have. Is this place going to be expensive? Affordable price. You may want to do something like 20 years of experience, 10 years of experience, whatever it may be, depending on your experience level. Insured, experience, dependable, professional, quality work. These are basically answering the questions people have. Like, I don't want some half-ass pool liner replacement job. I want this person to do a really good job, and I want them to do it for the lowest possible cost. That's ultimately what people want. So you need to say that on your landing page. I'm not a huge fan of listing fixed prices unless they are very low prices and they're not going to be something that turn people away before they ever even contact you. So now we have contact us today. Somebody clicks this and it brings them right to this form here. So they can fill out the form very easily. First name, email, phone number, message, send your message. Could also do each of these individual and do contact us today about pool liner replacement services. And then we have our testimonial here, Corey and his team. Again, this is a fake testimonial. Maybe you want to do a video showing you and your team actually working on a pool, something like that. Why choose us? So that's essentially what you're trying to do on all of your landing pages. Who we are, what we do, why you want to choose us, how the process works, and basically, let's get started today. It's kind of the different things you're trying to do. So we come down here, testimonial, contact us, make it easy to call or text us. Scroll down here, pool liner replacement services, maybe a little bit more information. The process further at the bottom. If they get all the way to the bottom and contact us, then it'll bring them right back up to the form here. So basically a one-page landing page separate from your SEO pages. You just de-index this one. And if you're looking for really good landing page examples, there's a bunch of different examples out there. I really like this MailerLite.com/landing page examples. So within this, they have different categories here. So if you're saying, all right, let me look up, I'm trying to do this for lead generation. So we do lead generation here. They'll show us all of the best lead generation landing pages they have. And basically you can find, okay, these are some pretty good ideas. These are some pretty good ideas we could try. But you're basically just looking for some type of format for, okay, what am I trying to get people to do? So College Life Made Easy lead generation, they have this, do you like free stuff, monthly budget. So basically you get a bunch of free resources, put out your email, I love free stuff. So pretty simple landing page, but if you go through the MailerLite landing page examples and look up things similar to what you're actually targeting, something like this could be a very good, you have a video at the top, basics to fertility charting, start charting your cycle today, and there you go. Email, name, teach me how. And I really like these types of things, so trying to make things as personalized as possible. Not to keep doing a shameless plug of my own course, but of course this is where all my good information is, all my full Google Ads information, but I do the same thing. So have this here. So basically people are going to say, why should I listen to what this person has to say about anything related to Google Ads? I could probably put another video here as well that will basically help people learn more about this. But ultimately what you're trying to do with landing pages is create a really good designed landing page that is going to answer all the questions people have and make them want to actually reach out to you. So especially on the Google Ads side, you really need to convince people to reach out to you. On the SEO side, people tend to convert slightly better, or if people are going direct to your website, they already say, all right, I'm interested in working with this person on Google Ads. I'm going to fill out their contact form, whether or not they make it easy for me or not. When it's Google Ads, you need to make it as easy as possible, give them every possible way to actually reach out to you. Maybe you put a live chat in the bottom corner that pops up when they get to the website. Make things as easy as possible. Put your call to actions bold right in front of people's faces, especially the main call to action you want them to do. But essentially, a landing page is just who we are, what we do, why you should choose us. Let's get started with all of this. So that's essentially what you're trying to do with a landing page. Make sure you have a very professional website design, professional landing pages, and create 2 for every single ad group if you're able to. So you'll see some of my ad groups here, because then you can start breaking down things a little better. Instead of just targeting pool cleaning services near me with a broad South Carolina page, I can say, okay, let's do pool cleaning Charleston. Let's do pool cleaning Myrtle Beach. Let's do the same thing for all of these different options here so that we're actually driving really relevant traffic and really targeted traffic to our landing pages. Over time, this is going to give you much better quality scores. You will actually pay less on your Google Ads if you set up your campaign in this way. So that's going to bring us right to number 3. And number 3 is an organized campaign setup. And you can see exactly what I mean by that with the different ad groups we have, where each individual ad group should have very relevant keywords in it, very relevant ads. So that's going to go on to number 4, but very relevant ads. And you should have very relevant landing pages. So pool liner replacement, we go in the ad group. As you start getting some of your search terms coming in for this ad group, you can start to say, okay, some of these are relevant, some of these are not relevant. Let's go to my pool repair has the most coming in here. But if we come into pool repair after you set this up in your insights and reports, going into your search terms here, you can see actually what people are typing in before they click on your ads. So if we come in, we have a filter here, so I'll have to get rid of our filter. Okay, and you're going to see exactly some of the different things that are coming in here. Above ground pool repair is what drove our conversion. So one click, I think we had 2 impressions, $1.89 for that one. Pool repair near me, above ground pool repair near me, and then you start to get more things coming in here. And as you get more coming in here, this is where you say, okay, maybe we create our own pool pump landing page, our pool vacuum landing page, pool robot, if that's something that we do. If we're not repairing pool vacuums, then let's get rid of this. You're also looking for things like this, Aqua Specialists, not exactly what we're trying to do. Aqua Blue Pool Service is actually another company that works in South Carolina, so I excluded that, but start adding those as negative keywords. But when you're creating your campaign, some of the different things that you want to keep in mind, we set up our conversion tracking, we have our landing pages ready. Now when we come in here to our settings, you want to make sure that you create a search campaign. Do not look at the optimization score. This serves Google Ads. This does not serve you. So we're creating a search campaign. Name your campaign. Conversion goals. You can see we have our campaign is designed to optimize for our 3 different phone call leads that we just went over. Each of these are valued at $3 a piece. And then also with our contacts. And the main ones here is email new. So that is valued at $1, submit lead form new, and text message new. So those are our 6 different conversions. These are both just different examples from other videos that I've done. But you'll see now we're optimizing for those 6 conversions here, those 6 main conversions that we want to optimize for. So let's keep coming down here. Next, you're going to see campaign, obviously campaign status enabled, but marketing objective you want to set to leads. So make sure you are optimizing for leads. Under networks, you should only have the search network. You should not be doing search partners. You should not be doing the display network. Do not recommend doing those whatsoever. Your budget needs to be large enough to actually get measurable data in. In this case, I would recommend at least a $50 daily budget. Basically what you're looking for is take your budget, multiply it by 30, and that's how much you're going to spend. So whatever your daily budget is, if you're running all 30 days of the month, if you're running on weekends, you can always increase your budget slightly, but Google is basically going to pace your budget throughout the month. So some days you may spend more, some days you may spend less. $1 daily budget is only set at this just because this is a pure example campaign. I would highly recommend getting started with a $50 type of budget, at least really $30, $40. Anything less, you're just not getting enough clicks every day. You're not getting enough data every day to actually make smart decisions about your advertising, and you're never going to be entering the best Google Ads auctions. Your goal is to scale your budget up in Google Ads, not to bring it down. Your goal is to spend more. So next is going to be locations. Locations, you want to choose whichever of the locations that you're actually targeting, and your locations are all set at the campaign level. So I usually try to put all of the locations I would target within my campaign, and then use my ad groups to basically say, okay, let me target the biggest city in here, Charleston. Let me target the biggest city in here, Greenville. The biggest city in here, Myrtle Beach. And basically what you're trying to do is say, okay, let's create landing pages for some of these larger locations. For your location options, choose presence. People in or regularly in your included locations. Presence or interest will bring in people that have shown interest in your included locations. This could be somebody who's shown interest in, I don't know, New York City who lives in France, and then your ads are showing in France because you're targeting New York City, and that person in France is showing that they're interested in New York City and maybe they're going to visit in a month or 2. You do not want to target that person with your swimming pool services or with anything really. So unless you're working with somebody who's doing travel, or you are working with a lot of people that are in and out of these locations a lot, that may be the one reason, but really I want people in, or for the most part, in my included locations. Set your language targeting. This is a very important one here, bidding. The hardest part is when you first get started with a campaign, you really would like to do maximize conversions bidding. So you launch a new campaign, you have your conversions tracking. The problem is if there's no data there, unless you have your budget set large enough, so this is where you may want to say, okay, let's put our budget up to $100 per day. And obviously you want to spend what you can afford that's actually going to help you grow your business. But the problem is sometimes if you set this maximize conversions bidding strategy and you're not getting any clicks or impressions, your campaign just basically does nothing. I am not a huge fan of the maximize clicks bid strategies. A lot of times I feel like that goes after the cheap traffic. I think it's trying to find clicks that aren't quite as valuable because those clicks are going to be cheaper than the conversion clicks that, somebody searching pool repair versus somebody searching pool repair services near me. You may get that person searching pool repair and they can potentially convert, but ultimately you're going to get a much better conversion rate with people searching pool repair services near me. So generally when I'm starting, it's manual CPC, help increase conversions with enhanced CPC, and optimize for conversions. And I will go over how I set my bids. I don't use automatically created assets. I use keyword match types still. Didn't mean to click on that. Dynamic search ads, something I won't cover in this video. I do cover that in the course. Ad rotation, this is why it's really important to actually create multiple landing pages. You can create one set of ad copy and test your 2 different landing pages against each other. So then you say, okay, we sent 50 people to this page, we sent 50 people to this page, and this page converts at a much higher rate. Google is smart enough to say this ad is much better performing, even if the ad copy is the same. They're saying this ad is much better performing because this landing page is better performing. That is also a landing page you would want to use within your assets. So 3 and 4 are essentially create really organized campaigns, create really great ads, and 2, 3, and 4 kind of all go together in terms of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 system. I mean, even 1, because all we're talking about is conversions, but you really need one thing to lead into the other. You can't really create great advertisements and have a great campaign if you have one landing page, unless your landing page is absolutely perfect. But nobody knows that until you actually test different landing page styles, different landing page formats. Maybe you have one with a menu at the top, one without a menu at the top, one that's very prominent, short landing page. Hey, contact us here. Here are the different types of pool liners we replace. One that is a long form, gives every last possible detail you could possibly imagine, both with call to actions prominent throughout the page. And you just basically say, let's see what converts better. And over time, you're going to have more of that data, and you can always redesign your landing page and continue with those improvements. That's like an ongoing improvement and optimization that you're trying to do. So number 5, but essentially what we're trying to do is create really organized campaigns. The hard part a lot of times is bidding in the very beginning. So you can try setting maximize conversions and seeing if your campaign actually spends. Otherwise, what I generally do with manual bidding, I will set a default max CPC at the ad group level that's very low. So $2 is probably a good example here. And I set that for, I think, all of these. Maybe this one I have at $1, this one at $1.95 because it's dynamic, but the rest all at $2. And then at the keyword level, what you're going to start getting is some information like your below the first page bid estimate. This doesn't necessarily mean, okay, I need to bid $10.98 if I want my ads to show. Your ads will still show even with lower bids. So usually what I do to try to guide those decisions is open up the Google Keyword Planner. So tools and Keyword Planner here, do a search. So do search for some of your main keywords. I have this set to target just the state of South Carolina. And then what you can try to do is say, okay, let's see what keywords are getting the most average monthly searches. And let's just say, okay, swimming pool company near me, bids as low as $2.03, bids as high as $11.52. I will generally try to keep my bid towards this side and not towards this side. But you can say, okay, if I'm seeing something like this here, then that basically means I need to bid somewhere probably around $5 for this type of keyword. Same thing as you're going through all of these different keywords here. Just look at what the bid estimates look like on the low end, on the high end. And if you're looking for, okay, what are probably the best keywords? Look at what keywords have the highest bids on them. So even things here, swimming pool deck repair. So that's probably something where it's a much higher ticket item for companies. So they're willing to bid much higher. If you're seeing $5.68 up to $25, usually what I'll do is I'll set this bid like around $10. So $10, $9, see what type of activity you're getting after you set your bids. And sometimes if you're just saying, you know what, I want to get some activity on all this, then set it above the first page bid estimate and work on improving your quality score. So your quality score also determines how much your first page bid is. This is not the same for every advertiser. An advertiser with a 10 out of 10 quality score will be bidding much less than you. So you could see right here, this is saying, okay, my ad relevance is below average, so I need to create a better advertisement. My expected click-through rate is average, so maybe what we need to do is bid higher and get our actual click-through rate up, because right now this isn't that strong here. So ultimately what you're trying to do is set your bids, and you can also come through here and set them in bulk and say, edit, let's change my max cost per click bids. Let's raise to the first page bid, raise bids to first page cost per click, set a maximum bid limit of $5, for example. So then you're not bidding any more than $5 on any of the keywords, but it will raise all of them up to $5 at least. So then you're starting to actually increase your bid slightly. But a lot of times I go keyword by keyword and say, okay, $5.74. Let's maybe set this one to $4 and see what happens. And if we're not getting on the first page, we're not getting clicks, we're not getting impressions. I've had times where I just come in here and say, edit, change our max cost per click bids. Let's increase our bids by 10%. And let's just see if we're getting a little bit more until we start getting this limited by budget sign. When you start getting limited by budget and you start getting conversions coming in, that's when you want to switch your bidding strategy. Over here, just go directly to maximize conversions. So try to get some conversions in with cost per click enhanced, setting those manual bids using the guide that Google Keyword Planner will give you, using some of the data that Google Ads will show you. And then what we can do is change our bid strategy, go to maximize conversions. And now let's just say, for example, we're getting conversions and our cost per conversion is $60. So you can set a target cost per action eventually and say, I want to set my target CPA to $60. We click on save, and I'm willing to spend more, especially if I know I'm getting conversions at $60. So I'm going to increase my budget per day up to 100, 150, 125, whatever it may be. And I feel more confident that Google is going to try to deliver me conversions within my budget at $60 or less. It's not perfect, but that's ultimately what you're trying to do. When you do see your campaign, Google is going to keep putting you towards this recommendation screen. Most of these are not helpful. Basically, what you're looking for here are anything related to, so here you go, bid more efficiently with maximized conversions. That is one you want to apply. Come down here, optimize your budgets. This is basically saying increase your budget, which I do need to do, truthfully. They'll always tell you to increase your budget, but I would apply this one as well in this case. Add dynamic images. So this is something I do apply from time to time, but I just prefer to add images, assets directly to my ads and use my own images. Same thing here, add images to your ad. So that's just something I need to add more images there. Next, all right, that's the same thing. Advertiser verification. I actually do need to do this. So that's another one that you want to complete. No, dismiss this one forever. Customer match list could be a good one that actually uses your audience data, much better for e-commerce. Add new keywords. So this one I usually look at all the recommendations and see what it recommends. So installations depends on if you do it. Best pool companies depends on if you do it. Well, obviously we do, but sometimes you may say, I don't want to target that. It's a little broad. Automatically created assets. I generally don't do this because if it's saying this, then I just need to create more assets for the campaign. Redundant keywords, I will remove these a lot of times, but not always. Wedding planner for destination wedding is from an example I did where I put that keyword in here just during a video where I was going over some of the different keyword match types. So create really organized campaigns. And I really wanted to go over bidding because ultimately your bidding strategy needs to go from most likely starting at manual bidding to the maximized conversions bidding to the target CPA bidding. And if you're using values, even if you're using values like I showed you where our phone call conversions are worth $3, the other ones are worth $1, over time, you could even set your bidding strategy, change it, and do maximize conversion value, and then set a target return on ad spend. This is much more popular, obviously, with e-commerce or anything related to revenue and sales, but this is something that you can definitely do if you are driving a lot of phone calls and you can say, I want to really focus on driving as many phone calls as possible, specifically if you have like the desktop phone calls or calls directly from your ads are converting well. Set those values high, and then you can actually focus on trying to maximize your conversion value and focus more on the actual phone calls themselves. So that is going to be number 3, create or organize campaign. So conversion tracking, create really good landing pages, and I would recommend creating 2 landing pages for every single ad group. Basically the SEO page on your website, the pool leak detection page that we have on our website, and then create a separate landing page. It could all be the same exact template. Update that copy and make sure that it is as relevant as possible for your campaign. Then you can create a really organized search campaign like we just went over. Okay, next is going to be number 4. And number 4 is going to be you really want to create great ads and you want to create multiple ads in every ad group. Generally, what I like to do is create one ad variation. So if we come in here, I have an excellent ad. I like my ad strength to either be excellent or good. So generally that means it has a higher chance of performing well. This is not used in the auction whatsoever. So if you're seeing this as average, or if it is poor, you probably should improve it anyway. But you'll see some of the ideas that they have over here. Add more headlines, include popular keywords, make your headlines more unique. You'll see basically down here, I have all of my different keywords. And I have keyword in here. So that is one of the ways to actually make sure that you're getting a good ad strength. This is dynamic keyword insertion. Basically, this is the default text, pool liner repair SC. Title case means it capitalizes the first letter of each word. It should keep SC capitalized, hopefully. But if we come up to the top here, whatever keyword matches closely is going to actually be the one that shows in our advertisement. So then we just fill out all our other headlines. You want a combination of headlines that are going to be keyword focused, headlines that are going to entice people to actually contact you. Maybe you do something in here like save 20% when you call today, something like that. Do some of the different services that you provide. So for pool liner replacement, above ground and in ground, looking at some of the different ways people actually search for these things and the different services they have. Again, you're trying to answer questions in the ads the same way you do on your landing page. The other thing you can do is do liner repair location city, and it will actually, the default text here is going to be SC, so it would say liner repair SC, but if somebody's located in Myrtle Beach or Charleston, it'll say liner repair Myrtle Beach for that person. And you'll see those at the top here as it goes through these sometimes. So pool liner replacement Greenville, that may be this keyword here. But ultimately, this liner repair will pull in that person's location. I generally do that in one headline and at least one of the description lines. And then we do our 4 descriptions here. I need to add images to my campaign. So I thought I did this, but we'll add some of our images here. Okay, so maybe they didn't like my images I selected. Okay, so we have our images here. You can add up to 20 images. I like things that are very visual. So it's in pool services case, I want very bright pool colors, things that show, hey, we do everything related to pools. So now we have our images added. Business name and logos. This is through your advertiser verification. I need to do this, so maybe I'll create a video about that and just publish it to the course. Site links. So you can see all my site links here. Contact us, pool repair, pool leak detection, pool cleaning, all services. You could also do things like promotions. You could do things like, even if it's like a limited time offer or something like that. You really want to use site links on your website that are going to be much more likely to get people to actually convert. So it could be contact us. I don't generally use home, but like services, pool repair, just add all of those, contact us, any offers that you have. Those all can be really helpful with the site links. Keep coming down some different asset types. One promotion, so I must have set up 10% off pool cleanings. So just setting up a promotion, then people searching for pool cleaning services may say, okay, let's give this company a chance. If we get 10% might not be enough. Maybe you do 20% off or 20% off when you book a month of pool services or something. Calls, so you want to set up your call asset here, and then basically within your call asset, this is where you can say, okay, I want the conversion action to be phone calls directly from ads, which is tracking every time I have a phone call that's 30 seconds or longer. Callouts are basically just going to do quick little snippets of text. So expert SC pool services, serving SC, free initial assessment, affordable pricing. You're trying to basically get, again, more ways to get people to actually contact you. Lead forms, not something I do all that often, but you can incorporate lead forms on your ads and actually have it so when it submits, you can have it connect directly with your CRM. That is how I would recommend doing it. That is going to be a tutorial for another day. If you have a mobile app, you can put that there. The other one is prices, and I don't know where there's structured snippets. So structured snippets allow you to put, this is service catalog, but they have a bunch of different options here. So if you scroll down, shows, styles, types, models, insurance coverage. So depending on the type of business you have, there are different structured snippets to actually show all of your services. So once you create your excellent ad, you make sure your headlines are really relevant to your keywords you're targeting. Make sure you have all your headlines filled out. We have our first final URL here. All you essentially need to do is, and we'll click on cancel. I don't know if we save this, we'll save our ad. And then once you have that ad here, click on it, edit, copy, edit, paste, and it will paste that advertisement. It's going to tell you to go into this actual campaign, tell you your ad group, go into and you want to, if ad already exists in the destination, you want to create a duplicate. Just make sure after you do that, you go into your duplicate ad and you update that landing page so that one ad is going directly to this landing page, one ad would be going directly to your other landing page. And you would want to do that for every single ad group. And you only need those 2 ads because with all the different headlines you have, all the different description lines, there's so many ad combinations that Google Ads can create along with the landing page where you're sending traffic, that as long as you have different types of landing pages where they don't look exactly the same, these truthfully are not the greatest examples of landing pages because they're pretty much just pages on my website. This one I would definitely design as more of a standalone type of page where maybe the menu at the top is along the lines of our process. People click on it, it brings them directly down the page. They click on contact us here at the top, it brings them directly to the form. So that's generally how I would set up a secondary landing page, is removing the menu and doing more of a landing page. I just personally create those directly on the website now. And if you're using Elementor, they make it really easy to actually customize landing pages and customize your header, and you don't have to worry about basically using a third-party service that generally costs something per month. Even though Elementor Pro costs something, it costs a lot less than Unbounce and some of those other tools. So ads, assets, you want to really make them as targeted as possible. You can set assets at the ad group level. So I don't have the greatest example for this, but in the case of like pool cleaning, I could do, okay, Charleston pool cleaning, Myrtle Beach pool cleaning, Greenville pool cleaning, Spartanburg pool cleaning, Columbia pool, and do all the different main cities that I'm targeting. So then when people are searching that, they can easily find that landing page, even though I'd like to send them to that page anyway, but it keeps things a little bit more targeted. Same thing if you use different types of assets at the ad group level, just to try to get as targeted as possible you can with your keywords. I generally do that more for like the ad groups within my campaign that are getting the most activity. So that will be number 4, is going to be our ads. And to finalize everything, ongoing optimization is the key to Google Ads. So the number one thing you need to do is the first 30 days, you're collecting data. The first 60 days, you're really collecting data within your campaign. So if somebody reaches out to you, or if you're running campaigns and you're like, all right, I can spend $10 per day, it takes much longer to actually optimize that budget than somebody who says, hey, I want to spend $200 a day. Somebody reaches out to me and says, I'm currently spending $5,000 in Google Ads, looking for an optimization, looking for management. It's much easier for me because there's so much data in that account than if somebody comes to me with a brand new account, brand new website, no landing pages, no data. Basically, the initial part that you're trying to do is create a very organized campaign, set up all of your conversions, and then get that data within your campaign so that, again, we can reach this requirement where we say, okay, in the first 30 days, we spent $2,000 and we drove, I don't know, let's say 25 conversions. Okay, so now we're $80 per conversion. Now the next month, maybe what we do is we spend $2,000 and we drive 35 conversions. So now we drive 35 conversions in the second month. Now we're underneath $60 per conversion. The pool service company says, you know what? If we could drive $57 conversions, I'm willing to spend up to $5,000 a month. We're like, all right, perfect. $5,000 a month. And let's just say we get $60 cost per conversion. Now they're driving 83 conversions per month. All of that data within this campaign makes it much easier to optimize, and you're able to come here, set your target CPA bidding strategy, and basically just tell Google Ads, I want you to drive conversions at this specific CPA. It's not going to be perfect, and your CPA may be slightly higher. There is really a balancing act when it comes to your budget, when it comes to your CPA. And to take it a step further, if you go to tools and you go to bid strategies here, you can actually set a portfolio bid strategy where you set a CPA, a max CPC. But again, that's something where you need a lot of data coming in and you want to use your actual data itself. That is number one. Is optimizing your bidding strategy is always going to be an ongoing process. In addition to that, insights and reports are going to show you a lot of different things about how your ads are performing, what your search terms are. And you can actually create reports very easily by just clicking on reports here. And you can say, okay, I want to look up my performance summary by ad group. Click on this and it will create a report for you. I want to see my performance summary by search keyword. Again, same exact thing. When and where ads showed. So your search terms, distance, all of these things can be helpful to understand, okay, which locations are performing the best for us, which devices are performing the best for us. And ultimately what I try to do is within my search terms, you try to come up with things like, okay, which are going to be the keywords that are driving clicks, that are going to be the most relevant for us, that are going to actually drive us conversions. So best pool repair near me, perfect. A lot of these are really good keywords. And then as you come down here, you'll start to find things where it's like, okay, aqua specialist, add that as negative keywords. Acid wash pool, add that as a negative keyword. And you'll see the broad match type brings in a lot of this junk. So to kind of finish everything off, when we are targeting keywords, and you probably saw this already when I showed you my keywords, I am a huge fan of using phrase match keywords. Broad match keywords are going to bring in more irrelevance as well as more volume. But the problem with broad match keywords is with a limited budget, you're going to be spending money on clicks that are irrelevant. So broad match keywords are for very large budgets that you need to find additional volume to actually use. But ultimately what you're trying to do with broad match keywords is create a very good negative keyword list, because you're going to get a lot of search terms coming in. And over time, you should be able to target every single possible search term variation with a broad match keyword, as long as you have really good conversion data coming in and everything stays on track within your campaign. Broad match keywords do require more active management than phrase match keywords do. and they don't necessarily always perform better than phrase match. Your other option is exact match. To me, that's way too limiting and really much better served for like specific B2B, depending on what you're trying to target. So this is the keyword match type I would recommend using, is phrase match as you get started. And then as you start getting some data in for your search terms, consistently adding negative keywords to help optimize, going through your assets and seeing your best performing assets, your best performing ads, and you doing optimizations that way as well. Looking at your search keywords consistently to see which ones are driving the best results. Maybe we can pause a few of the underperforming search keywords and try to really squeeze as much as we can out of our budget. But this is my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 Google Ads training. Number 1, conversion tracking. Number 2, landing pages. Create optimized ones, test landing pages all the time. Number 3, campaign. Create an organized campaign designed to drive conversions. Start with manual bidding. I would start with phrase match keywords. Number 4, create the best ads and assets you possibly can, so you're giving people a really relevant user experience. Ultimately, if we create an organized campaign, we give people a relevant user experience, we give people the best possible landing page that we can, the best possible ad we can, no matter what they're searching, then over time, our quality scores should go as high as we possibly can get them. So 10 out of 10 quality scores. We're paying less for traffic, and our optimization, it really comes down to adding negative keywords and then consistently improving our website, the way that we're presenting our information, and just looking at every single Google Ads feature to, again, squeeze every last conversion out of our budget as we maximize our budget. So that is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 training. Again, if you're interested in a lot more detailed version of this, I highly recommend getting my Surfside PPC Google Ads course. Go to surfsideppc.com/course. This will give you access to all of my lessons, updated lessons here. I also have Surfside Inbound if you're interested. So Surfside Inbound is my membership program. You can join directly through my YouTube channel. Click join under any one of my videos, and that will allow you to join Surfside Inbound. But this is on YouTube or Patreon, same exact content on both. Pick the platform you prefer, and you get access to my inbound marketing course, my From 0 to 5K roadmap, basically all sorts of digital marketing content, hours and hours and hours of content, $4.99 a month, and I come out with new content every single week. The Surfside Inbound podcast is something I'm just getting started with, but I'm going to be doing Q&As there and basically giving you all sorts of information to drive more leads for your business, regardless of your business type. So thank you for watching this, and hopefully my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 training was helpful.